I do recommend to have a bolster, don't have one, rolled up blanket or a mat rolled into a blanket, a cushion, and even a block. If you have one, a block will be good today, just to sit on. So maybe a sturdy or thicker cushion does the job as well, or even sitting on the bolster if you like. We begin in a seated shape today, so I will ask you to find your way into a seat, preferably being comfortable. So as you come to sit, just move around as much as you need to. Notice your preference. If you don't want to have your legs bent as much in an easy pose, you're welcome to extend the legs out as well. But making sure that you're able to sit nice and upright. And I really like that rocking a bit from side to side, shuffling around in your sit bones and finding a way to get you into that upright seated position. So you might want to move your shoulders a little, maybe have some light, very light twisting. So just careful, as it's a morning body and a cold body. And do make sure that you're either dressed warm enough so you can feel comfortable in this practice, or that your room is well heated. So letting the hands rest down for a moment when you're ready. Taking a deep breath in and have a sigh out. Do the same thing again. Just breathe in. Sigh the breath out. And I'll ask you then to just gently touch your thumb to your little finger. Just stimulating a little bit the water element today. And with that, dealing a bit with winter. So there will be some warming practices in here, as well as an acknowledgement of coming into a more restful phase of the year. If, as usual, something doesn't feel right for you, please change it to your liking. I'd ask you for a moment to close your eyes and just feel into the energy that you can sense around your little fingers. And just touching the thumb to the little finger. Noticing what you're sensing. Where does your energy go when you're just touching your little finger? As usual, there's no right or wrong. This is an experience. This is your experience, as yoga always is. Allowing a slightly deepening of breathing. Taking a full deep breath in. Taking another sip of air at the top of this inhalation. And then have a very long breath out. Let go of the little finger for a moment. Bending your elbows so that the palms of your hands are facing forward. Making fists with your hands. We go into a form of Bhastrika breathing. If the arms don't suit you today, leave them out, it's fine. We will inhale through the nose. Maybe the arms are extending, the fingers are spreading out. And then as you're breathing out quite forcefully, we're pulling in the fists, but we're also pulling in the abdomen. So the breath goes through the nose as we inhale, extending the arms, spreading your fingers. Exhale, pull, arms down, belly in. It will be your choice of pace. So we inhale. Make sure that the inhale is full. You're spreading out your fingers and then you're pulling down quite fast. Belly is pulling in. Eyes can be closed. Go for 2 more. Then rest the hands down. Breathing relaxed naturally for a moment and noticing what shifts in energy and sensations might arise. I will invite you to repeat the technique for another 10 breaths. You begin with fists resting in front of your shoulders. Inhale, belly expanding, fingers spreading. Exhale, pull belly in, make fists. Your choice of pace whenever you completed about 10, resting the arms back down. Eyes might be closed or steady gaze. And we will repeat that one last time. So starting with fists in front of the shoulders. Breath in, belly expanding, fingers spreading, arms extending, and pull down as the belly pulls in. Your pace doesn't have to be mine. You've done about 10, you're resting down again. So no rush for you to finish. Finishing in your own pace, your own way. Just sensing how's the energy feeling. I was hoping that it would warm you up and maybe even lift your energy a little. I'm asking you from there to place your fingertips down behind your back and to start to lift through the sternum and the heart while your shoulder blades are squeezing together. You can keep your gaze forward. This is already a back bend. If you choose to take it deeper, you might slightly protect the chin and then lift and guide the head backwards to open through the throat. We're not really leaning backwards, just using the fingertips to support us, getting that deep lift through the solar plexus, the heart area. And then slowly lifting yourself back up into a seated shape. I will ask you to remove your support from underneath you for now. And step the feet down in front of you. So placing your hands or fists down behind your back. If you choose the hands, you might try and let your fingers point forwards. Have your feet about hip distance. We're entering another back bend. If this is too strong, you can just step back up onto fingertips, lift through solar plexus and heart, as we did before in a different leg position. Otherwise, let's start to squeeze the buttocks and lift the hips up. Bringing your gaze forward toward your knees. And only if that feels right for your neck, guiding the head backwards. Otherwise, keep the gaze forward. On the inhale now, lower the hips a little. And on the exhale, squeeze your buttocks up. On the inhale, lower the hips. On the exhale, squeezing up. Just one more. Take a breath in, lower the hips. And squeeze them up, hold. And very gently landing back down to sit. If you need to sit on a block, that's absolutely fine. You could pop that back underneath or your cushion. Otherwise, touch the soles of the feet together. Bring them in a little bit, as much as your knees allow you to. Interlacing your fingers around your toes. And then just lengthening up through the spine. Let your shoulders be down, released, taking a deep full breath in. And as you're exhaling, just swaying a little bit from side to side and just noticing, how does that feel around the pelvis? We're taking it very slow, that approach to come forward. As I ask you to just lean forward a little. If you're lucky, your elbows will touch your legs. If they don't, no problem here. I will ask you to maintain a more or less straight spine as much as possible. If you can touch your elbows down, press them into your legs and lift your legs up into your elbows. Holding tension. And then have a long breath out where you let go of that tension, softening your arms, lengthening your spine, and making your knees heavy again. We'll then rock a little bit from side to side to create some flow through the pelvis. Maybe touching the elbows back down again to the inside of your legs. As you take a deep breath in now, push the elbows down, the legs coming up. Your gaze is forward, hold. And then a long, slow out breath where you let go of the tension. You can lift again a bit through the upper body, let the knees become heavy again. We'll do that all over once more. So let's rock a little bit from side to side, finding the movement again, and maybe areas where we're holding a bit of tension. Then touch your elbows back down, push down and up at the same time. Deep breath in and hold the breath. Then a slow, long out breath where you let the knees become heavy, the arms relax. I invite you to come deeper, but to change shape a bit. Let your feet move away from you, forward, but keep the soles of the feet touching. Place your hands down onto the floor in front of you. Take a deep breath again. Use the hands or fingertips on the ground to allow yourself to sit up tall. And then as you're breathing out, you're swaying again. But this time, if you can get there, your hands are sliding underneath the legs for a tortoise shape. There's no obligation to embrace your feet as in a double prayer, one prayer with the feet and the hands over the tops of the feet. I invite you to become heavy here in the head, to let the spine round forward. And you could even, if that is feeling all right, Just use the arms and the legs for a gentle pull. Be mindful about problems in your back. If you're feeling pain here, please back off. Otherwise, you might sway a little to guide yourself a bit deeper into the shape. And once you've completed movement and you're kind of feeling that you can't get any further, then I invite yourself to get comfortable in this shape that you've just discovered for yourself. Let even your arms be relaxed, the back round, the head sink down, and take a few deeper breaths here. Allowing a cleansing stream to wash all the way over your back. Stream has just got the right temperature to keep you comfortable. And maybe as it washes over you, it takes things with you that you no longer need, that you can let go of. Feeling nevertheless quite solid in your position, like a rock sitting in the stream. To release yourself from this shape, sliding the hands back as you come upright and let your legs extend out long in front of you. You might just walk out a little bit through the sit bones and place your hands down by your sides, flexing through the feet. We'll take a deep breath in to lift the crown of the head to the ceiling. And a breath out to lightly activate Mula Bandha. So we're drawing in the lower belly gently towards the tailbone. Nothing more here to do unless you like to. If you feel it's appropriate, you can slide your hands behind you, fingers still pointing forward for an upward facing plank. If this is too much, you would still like to bend backwards, you can return to the upward facing tabletop. Pointing your feet if you're keeping your legs long and squeezing the buttocks to lift the hips up. You can keep your gaze down at your toes or push the shin forward and guide the head back. Holding here for maybe 2 breaths, releasing that earlier if you need to. Once you've completed your 2 breaths or you've had enough, just bending the knees up towards the chest. Step the feet out a little bit wider, maybe even mat distance apart, and have a few windscreen viper movements there in front of you. Some gentle twisting. Maybe a bit of loosening up through the pelvic area as well. We will move on from here into a tall standing mountain pose. You might like your mat either way. Either you're placing it the way I've got it and you occasionally glance to the side and maybe look behind you, or you're just keeping your mat facing forward. So both will work today. Finding a solid stance on your feet, either at hip distance or with your big toes to touch, depending on how you're feeling in the area. Grounding down through the feet quite firmly. So using the 2 points on the balls of the feet and the center point of your heel. Let the shoulders shrug back and the palms open for a moment. Reach up with the crown of the head toward the ceiling. And find the strength around your legs as well as in the pelvic area. So that light activation of your lower abdomen to support the pelvis facing forward. I'm asking you now to hook up your little fingers in front of you. Elbows will be bent, just hooking up your little fingers. So again, stimulating the water element within the body, and we'll keep our bodies a little bit fluent. Other than the foundation, so the legs, the pelvis will be steady and facing forward. And while you're breathing out, pull a little bit with the right arm into a twist. As you're inhaling, come to center, and then do the same with the left arm. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhaling, center. Exhaling to the left. Watch that your foundation remains still. So your hips are shining forward. You're only moving through the upper body. Legs steady, hips forward. Nice and slow movement. And maybe going to your maximum. And next time you're coming to the right, just pause here for a moment. Inhale, come back to center, and then go back to the left and pause there. As we come to the center, releasing the hook of the fingers and opening the arms. Let us take a breath in, lifting the arms up. And as you bring your hands now to the heart, stepping your right foot back, just about a meter into a warrior one stance. If this warrior stance doesn't feel right for you and for your back, you can always lift the back heel off the ground. Otherwise, we keep a grounding happening through the outer edge of the back foot. So the arches of the feet will be active. We have hooked up our little fingers in a certain way, and I challenge you to do that in a different way now. Whatever that means in your hands, just trying a different hook, maybe bringing the other finger on top. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. You're finding your tall stance. You're starting a gentle pull on the little fingers. Inhale here. Keep your foundation grounded. Exhale, pull to the open side. Inhale, center yourself. Exhale, twisting to the other. Inhale, center. And it really is, again, the same movement that we've practiced in mountain pose or Tadasana. As we're trying to have a really solid foundation, this time that of a warrior. I will encourage you the next time you're moving toward the closed side to just hold here. To keep the pull on the little fingers, the groundedness through the shape. Then release the fingers, lift through the back heel, reach your arms out and up, maybe even lifting the gaze briefly, stepping your foot a little bit further out and finding a warrior two. As we find our stance here, the arms might be extended. If there's any problems with shoulders to be in this shape, you can relax the arms a little bit or just bend the elbows, making the shape more easy, but keeping yourself grounded and steady at the same time. So both feet on the floor, front knee in a bend. And we will exalt this. So looking up towards the light. If your neck allows you, actually look up, even into the palm of your hand. Letting the other hand just slide down the back of the leg. In your mind's eye, watching the front knee as that is still aligned with the front toes. Feel welcome on the next inhale to straighten the front leg. Notice how you might have started to collapse into the back hip and finding a deeper stance for both of your feet. You can change your gaze point if looking up is strenuous for the neck. We will then bend both of our knees, take the upper arm towards the back knee, bring our hands in between the feet and turn the feet in the direction we're facing now. So lengthening through the spine as you take your in-breaths. And then folding forward as you come to your out-breath. Hands don't have to touch the floor or even get close. Nor are there any regulations for the knees. If you need your knees bend a lot, bend them a lot. But try and lean the weight slightly forward within your feet. While it might be relaxing for now to just let the upper body hang down, try and gently lift your shoulders back into the sockets. So we're getting that lift and a bit more engagement through the upper back around the shoulder blades and shoulders themselves. And we're creating space around the neck and the ears. Allowing yourself another 2 full out breaths to deepen. I will ask you next to take an in-breath and come back onto your fingertips and lengthen through your spine. Then as you next inhale, bring a brief bend into both of your knees. And as you're exhaling, straighten your legs out as they were before and lifting your right arm. Coming into an open twist. Noticing again the weight bearing through the legs and finding potential balance here. Release that as you swing your arm down, bend your knees. Lengthen again through the legs and the spine. On the next inhale, softening both knees again. And on the exhale now, lifting through your left arm. Feel again into the balance across the hips and the feet. Finding your spinal twist. Then let's release the hand back down. Taking another half lift on the next inhale. And now dropping your right knee down onto the mat. Turning towards the front foot. If there's not enough distance between the foot and the knee, please crawl the foot a bit forward. And I invite you to have your hands on the inside of the front foot and just lean towards the front. If you feel you would benefit from letting the knee fall out to the side, that's another option. Mindful with your back knee. We get into deeper stretches today anyway, but allowing the knee to just fall out if it suits. Landing the sole of the foot back onto the mat. Rock a little bit back to tuck your back toes under. Then lift your knee off the ground and land down the foot. Have your hands touch on the inside of your front leg. We unfold into triangle. So while you're taking a breath in, let your right arm cross over the chest and extend upwards. Too strong, you can always place the hand into the side of the waist. I invite you to rise up from the ground rather than getting stuck with the left hand fingertips on the floor. Just opening your body a bit more. If you feel it works for you, let your hand roll behind your back. Maybe tuck your chin in towards the top shoulder. When you next inhale, bring a bend into your front leg and push yourself back into a warrior two, the shape from which we came. Looking forward into the palm of your hand or on your fingers. And then let's lift the back heel off the ground, reaching the arms up, maybe lifting your gaze for a high lunge. And you can use the front thigh to take you forward or just stepping forward and bringing hands straight to the heart. Let's release the arms down and reclaim a mountain shape. Noticing how you're feeling, eye gaze steady or the eyes closed. Getting that sense of groundedness again through your feet. Reaching up through the crown of the head. Steadiness of the mountain. When we hook up our little fingers again in front of us, like with all the hand positions, with everything that we do, we've got this preference. So I invite you to go to your less preferred hook to begin with. Keep the elbows down, the shoulders down, your foundation steady, lower abdomen on. Inhale. And as you exhale, pull on the left side. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, pull with the right hand. Inhale, come to center. And as you continue that, just pulling with one side and going into a twist. Your legs are steady. Your pelvis is facing forward. Next time you come to the left, just pausing here. Inhale, come to center and go back to the right and pausing here. Come back into the center, release the hooked up fingers, take a deep breath, lifting the arms. Hands to the heart as you're stepping your left foot back. Again, allow about 1 meter distance between the feet and hip distance. Front knee is in a bend, and the same applies here. If this stance where the back foot is grounded doesn't suit your back, just lift the heel off the ground. Now with the front knee in a bend, we will find our easier hook for the fingers and relaxing the shoulders down again. Grounding through the feet while the arches are lifted and that little pull on the fingers. As your next exhale, pull over towards the open side. Inhale, find your center, and then exhale, twisting towards the closed side. And I invite you to continue that. Pulling on the little finger into a twist while your foundation is unchanged. You could look over the relevant shoulder as you're coming into your twist. Next time you come to the right, just pause there for a moment. Feeling the groundedness through the legs. And to release that, unhook your little fingers. Take a breath in as you reach your arms up and lift the back heel. And then step the foot a bit out and find back to your warrior two shape. Acknowledge palms facing up or down, both are just variations. Encouraging again your feet to be active in the floor with your arches lifted. Your drishti, your gaze point might be towards the front. So all these are very strong standing poses that might help you to stay grounded and connected. We will exalt this shape. While you breathe in, you might even lift your gaze up into your hand, allowing the other hand to just softly rest. If the gaze upward is too much, you can lower the gaze or bring it out into the center, but keeping a sense of reaching up for light and a bend in the front knee. Maintaining this length in the side of the body, as you might choose to straighten the front leg. Noticing the shift in where your weight bearing in your legs and in your hips, and see if you can balance that between your two legs while you're reaching upward still. From here, let's bend both knees. Take the upper hand toward the back knee. Swing your feet around and lean down for a wide-legged forward fold. So your toes will be pointing again in the direction we're facing now. Find length in your spine, fingertips on the floor, on the support. And as you're exhaling, let's simply fold again. So the weight sits forward in your feet. Shoulders are very gently elevated. And we're breathing. Nice deep breath in and out of the nose. Allowing yourself to extend, maybe even extending the breath. If the last time we twisted was strong enough, you can do that again. We'll step up onto the fingertips and lengthening the spine to begin with. Now we will begin by lifting the left arm, and we will all do so if you want to, but you could also reach with your right hand to your left ankle and deepen the turn as you allow that hold to bring your upper body closer towards the left leg. Let's swing that arm back down, come to the center, lengthening the spine forward. The same here, while you take a breath in, lifting the right arm, and either you keep it like this or you take your left hand towards the right ankle or outside of the leg, allowing yourself to pull in a bit closer towards that leg. The upper arm could come into the lower back if you prefer, just on that side, because I forgot it in the triangle. And then let's release the hands back down, rise to your fingertips on the inhale, and drop your left knee down on the exhale, untucking the toes. Bring your hands forward to the inside of the front foot. And if it feels right, you can lunge forward. That's all depending on your back knee. You could also let the front knee fall out towards the side if that suits. We will come to change that shape as you land the foot back onto the ground. Lift through the back knee, ground the back foot. We'll bring hands to touch there. And as we take a breath in, opening up into a triangular shape. Opening up through the side body. And while you inhale, bend into your front knee and lift yourself up to warrior two. From your warrior, let's lift the back heel, reach the arms up, high lunge. Bring the hands down or let them help to step forward. Releasing the arms again. Standing grounded and tall for a mountain. Inhale deeply through your nose. And then start to tuck the chin in, soften your knees. And let your body roll down and forward. So we can come back into a seated shape. Bringing your legs out in front, and please feel welcome to use a rolled up mat or a block or a cushion underneath your buttocks. I will ask you to start and bend your left knee, bringing the sole of the foot on the inside of your leg. If you can, bring it all the way up to the inner thigh. As you allow yourself to just sit and be tall, let your left hand fingertips come right behind you and place the back of the right hand against the inside of your leg. Have a flexion in the right foot and turn your gaze towards your left knee. I will invite you to lift up through the left hand, and you can keep that arm there. You can even bring it into the side of the waist, or you could bend your elbow and rest that arm behind your head towards your neck. Remember, I'm giving you lots of options and yours to choose from. As you next breathe out, let your right hand slide down the inside of your leg, keeping the left shoulder open, maybe even tucking your chin in towards the armpits. There was a maybe in here, so that's not have to do. You can leave your gaze wherever that's more comfortable for you. Keeping that light pressure of your arm and your hand against your leg to keep you guided and open, and allowing yourself to come deeper into this side bend. Let's roll the upper shoulder and arm in and down. While we're starting to face this leg, I recommend to pull the leg back into the hip socket. Take your left hand and place the fingertips down on the outside of your right foot. The other hand can just rest down on that same side as well. Find your length in the spine as you take a breath in, and then fold over this leg as you're breathing out. We've crossed over with the left arm, so to maintain a bit of that length we've just created. If you feel you can easily hold onto your foot, you might take a hold of the outer edge of that foot and guiding your nose down towards your knee. Stay here, 2 more breaths. You've completed. Kindly come back up into a seated shape, extending your left leg out. Maybe give that a bit of a movement. We will aim to repeat on the other side. So while you're bending your right knee this time, again, make sure it's placed in accordance to how your knee is feeling, how your back is going with all of this. Finding yourself in a more or less centered seat, and place your right hand fingers by the side of the hip as a support to stay tall and upright. We're flexing through the left foot, so the toes here facing upwards. And we're bringing the hand to touch to the inner side. Let's reach the right arm up. And if that suits, you can place the hand behind the head. If that's too much, keep the arm lifted. If that's too much, bring the hand to the side waist. And while you're taking your next out breath, let your hand just slide down the inside of your leg. If you like, you can tuck the chin in towards the armpit. Again, making sure that these adjustments are suitable for your body. Breathing out deeply as you aim to keep the tension between the leg, your hand and arm. And to release that, let's roll the upper arm in and down. Reach with your hand towards the outside of your extended leg. Let the other hand come to that side as well. And maybe before you move forward, pull the straight leg back into your hip socket. As your fingertips are resting down somewhere on the outside of your foot or the leg, just folding forward from here. Noticing where this side is at. And only if you can comfortably reach, take a hold of the outer edge of the back foot instead of the floor there on the outside. We will use our out breath to lower our nose closer towards the knee. Few more breaths just to deepen this forward bend. Nothing else to do. And then as you release that, slowly rising back up into a seated shape, extending both legs out the front. Give them a little bit of a movement if you like. And I recommend to put socks back on, maybe even your jumpers or whatever you need to be warm and comfortable. And when you are ready, we will come to sit with the legs out long. Unless you need some support, you can have that with your hands. Lift the arms and roll down onto your back. Let your arms release and step your feet onto the ground, adjusting maybe your back. Then let your right ankle come and rest on your left thigh. And just let the knee fall out to the sides. That's all. We're maintaining the groundedness through the pelvis for now. That light opening of the leg. And we allow our arms to open up as well. You can have a bend in the elbows here, making sure that your shoulders keep rested, your shoulder blades are grounded. You're feeling quite comfortable in the upper body. And as you're next exhaling, let your knees roll over to your left. You might have your knee and foot hovering off the ground, or you might step your right foot down. You could turn the head over to the right-hand side here as well, away from where you twisted towards. Allowing yourself to feel into this shape. Maybe touching your thumbs to your little fingertips. Now embrace your core, lift yourself back into center, step the right foot back down, and instead bring your left ankle up to the right thigh. Let the knee fall open, nothing else to do. With the next out breath, let your knees fall to the right-hand side. And the same here, if they're hovering, that's okay. If you can step your left foot down, let your knee fall to the ground, that's fine too. Keep your elbows soft, shoulder blades, shoulders grounded, and maybe look over towards the left. Stay focused on the shape you're in this moment, your breath. And then again, embracing your core as you bring your legs back up to center. Stepping both feet down onto the ground and bringing both knees into the chest. Just give them a good squeeze into the shoulders or the chest itself. If you like movement here, you could rock from side to side, or you could just simply be still here. Inviting you from this point, just briefly extend your legs up. You can keep a hold of the backs of the legs. And maybe just letting your hands slide up the backs of the legs, cover the backs of your knees. Maybe even doing the same of the front of the legs, just a little massage across the knees and thighs and the calves behind. And then take everything you might like, such as a bolster underneath your knees, a light cushioning underneath the head, and maybe even a blanket over the top. We will practice our meditation today straight out of Shavasana. So it's a good reason to make sure that you're very, very comfortable as you approach the resting phase. Allowing the eyes to soften, either with a steady gaze toward the ceiling or the eyelids closed. Feeling yourself connected again to the floor. As you take one breath and let the breath sigh out. Inviting yourself back into stillness. Embracing yourself as you are within this stillness. Turning your awareness inwards. You can do this meditation without bringing your hands into a particular shape, but it might enhance the benefit if you do. So you could place your hands over your tummy or wherever you feel that's comfortable, and just using your right hand fingers to wrap in your little finger, and then place your thumb into the palm of the left hand. You would then just hold and rest again. So it is the little finger of the left hand that we're encircling with the right hand fingers, if you like, and placing the thumb into the palm of the left hand and then letting that rest. If you like, start to visualize that you are sitting by the sea, observing the waves. They come towards you and roll back out and disappear. As you watch the waves coming towards you, rolling back out and then just disappear. The same applies to your feelings, moods, and also to your relationship with others. Giving and receiving love is also subject to this law. Be aware that you only receive as much love as you can unconditionally give. This doesn't even have to mean great deeds. A friendly, warm heart for fellow human beings, animals, plants, water, air, and earth are entirely enough. Imagine someone specific or in general. Imagine someone happy and encourage this person if necessary. Believe in this individual's abilities and good heart. Imagine entire scenes in which this person is cheerful and smiling happily. You will experience wonders if you keep this up for several days or even weeks. The time will come when your heart will overflow with joy. But the most important thing is, don't expect anything at all for the time being. Radiate your goodwill and your love unconditionally. Just have some patience until the seeds sprout. Let your arms relax by the sides if they haven't yet. Start to breathe in, and at the same time lifting through the corners of your mouth. Keep the corners of the mouth lifted as you bring in some gentle movement, getting back in touch with movement of fingers and toes. And you might even keep the smile going as you extend your movement before finding your way back into a seated shape. When you're seated, let your fingertips touch the ground underneath you. And we'll flow them up with the breath in over the head. And then let that flow down in a prayer position or Anjali Mudra in front of your heart. A light bow to your heart. Touching into your own joy and unconditional love as we extend to each other. Namaste.